It's a fixture in the James Bond world, just like stunningly beautiful women at the Dry Martini, the Aston Martin DB5. The DB5 and Aston Martin as a brand reached world fame with the Bond movies Goldfinger and Fireball. But even without the silver screen and 007, the DB5, with its 4-liter V6 engine that produces 286 horsepower and its elegant design, is a sports car of superlatives.
The Aston Martin DB5 is the classic English coupe. Because of James Bond, it's the most famous movie car ever. It's the embodiment of elegance, a timeless classic, simple, so powerful, and full of style, unlike any other car.
The classic design of the DB5, with its balanced lines, turns the Aston into one of the most desirable cars worldwide. The DB5 is one of the most beautiful cars of all time. The spoke wheels, the huge wooden steering wheel in the cockpit, or the aluminum engine. All these details on the DB5 are real eye-catchers.
Only 1,000 Aston Martin DB5s were produced. In contrast to that, 75,000 E-Types were built. There was a reason for that. The Aston Martin cost nearly twice as much as the E-Type.
Not glamorous enough for secret agents on the silver screen, but out of reach for most non-Hollywood stars. The so-called small Aston.
The V8 Vantage is very similar to the DB5. It simply is that British understatement. It's quite easy to see that the V8 Vantage was inspired by the DB5. Its design is similarly classic, elegant, stylish, and cool.
The V8 Vantage can easily be recognized as an Aston Martin. Every sports car fan immediately falls in love with its design. The Vantage is wide and low, powerful looks, and despite its sportiness, it has an air of restraint. It goes without saying that the 4.7-liter V8 engine of such a distinguished British car brand is handmade.
What's so special about the Aston Martin's interior? It's not as baroque as Italian sports cars, and it also lacks some of their racing car pedigree and Spartan pureness. What it has is an air of nobility. You'll see metal and leather, but completely different from any German design. The German design is more sober and austere. English cars are just typically English in character.
The cockpit and design of the Aston Martin V8 Vantage are just like a typical conservative English gentleman, a reflection of British zeitgeist. On the contrary, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage N430 sheds all notions of conservative restraint so typical for an English coupe, with its striking two-tone paint job, loud add-ons, and sporty interior.
The N430 is the hardcore version of the Aston Martin Vantage, 436 horsepower. No more British coolness there.
The Vantage N430 is a car for extroverts.
The Vantage N430 is basically the sports version of the normal Vantage. It's slightly lighter, has more horsepower, and a rock-hard chassis with war paint added on the outside. Not really everyone's cup of tea.
The N430 features the most powerful Aston Martin V8. Seats with Alcantara. A carbon middle console and an Alcantara steering wheel are the main differences to the cockpit in the normal Vantage V8.